Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is your so-called media guy, Rashawn, here to teach you how to make an NG Shorts using Vegas Pro. So first of all, obviously you want to get your video file here and open it in Vegas Pro. Once it opens, it'll ask you if you want to set your project video settings to match this media. Press yes. Now you want to go to Project Video Properties and make sure that the width and height right now is set to the resolution that you recorded under and press OK. Now you want to go under Event Pan and Crop. Now notice here, if you recorded in 1080p, it'll show width at 1920, height at 1080. But you want this to fit on a phone's screen. So what you want to do is take the calculator out here, and you want to get the height number and multiply that by 9/16, because obviously the phone is 916 resolution. So it has 607.5, so you'd put 608 in where the width is, but we're using 1440p right now. So what you would do if you recorded a 1440p video and want to put it on a phone screen, you take 1440, which is the height, and you multiply that by 9/16 to get 810. So you press the width here and go 810. And as you see here, the preview here has changed. Now you want to go back to Project Video Properties and change the width to reverse 1080p. So 1080 by 1920. And you may ask, Rashawn, but here you put 810 by 1440. Well, these are the same aspect ratios. 810 by 1440 is the same as 1080 by 1920 as far as aspect ratio. Now, of course, with this, you already know that you recorded this, so you want to crop out the areas of action. Now, we already have a preset for that, but if you want to know how to do that in Vegas, you press Alt left bracket for the left bound and Alt right bracket for the right bound, but we're gonna get the pre-file I have right here of one of the shorts I've done previously. Now, the rest of what you do here is up to you. Now, obviously, you want to have all of the action in this little window right here. I'm not going to really show you to do that, but of course, we are talking about this orange right here, little juice. So you want to focus on the action here. With all these little keyframes, to add a keyframe, you can press this button, keyframe insert. And with every keyframe, you want to make sure that the action is in this little F right here. Now, let's go back to what is in this F. So you want to keep the aspect ratio locked at all times so that every part of the phone is covered. So you go over here and press Lock Aspect Ratio. So when you move this about, it doesn't matter how you move it, the entire screen is filled. If you have this off, then of course the screen will only be partially filled, and that is not what you want. You want the entire screen to be filled here. So you can mess around with it a little bit. You have move in X only, move in Y only. Move in X means you can move it side to side here. You probably don't want to use move in Y unless you keep the aspect ratio locked, move this around, and then move in X, move in Y. But obviously with the keyframes, which I'm not going to explain, as I said before, you want to make sure that the action corresponds to the frame here of what's going on. Once you're done with that, you want to go to render, of course. Now, if you have a NVIDIA graphics card, then you most likely are going to use the NVENC encoder If you are multitasking and you're playing a game while you render though, the more your GPU gets used, the slower the render is going to be. So if you're on AMD as well, or even if you're on NVIDIA and you're multitasking, I would recommend HEVC encoding. Ladies and gentlemen, I messed something up with the rendering part. So when you go to render here, and let's go to a preset as I said before, customize template. First thing you want to do is go to frame size, custom frame size. If you are gonna render in reverse 1080p, then you put width 1080, height 1920. Now, you can, in newer versions of Vegas, I believe, render in reverse 1440p, but you don't really need to do that. Profile only default, frame rate 60. The bitrate output to 20K. Main concept HEVC, as we said before, either high speed, speed, or balanced. The quality is negligible between the three of them. Then you'd give it a name here. NG Shorts Recording or something like that. And then you'd make sure you select your area. And then you would render. Microwave is done, so you would have the video here, you'd upload it to YouTube. I don't think you need to do this, but I suppose it may be recommended to put hashtag shorts in your title. Make sure the title is something that captivates the viewer, possibly, and you're all set to go. So that is how you make an NG short in Vegas Pro. See you next time.